at 6:03 p.m. All right. So item number 1, update on playground equipment. It's here. We got rave reviews. Dee and did a great job. And we're going to be getting the fiber fill. Did we hear anything about that?
I didn't hear back. I was going to ask Dee, but I didn't get a chance.
Okay, so we're working on the fiber fill coming probably sometime next week, but the playground's up. Looks good.
People are very happy.
It looks beautiful.
People
It's
seem
real
very
nice.
happy. Yep. All right. Dyer's Court.
Are we adding any other equipment to that open space now, or just keeping it like that? Or?
Well, my idea on that little open space would be, it would look nice to have like a picnic table or move a bench or do something for the parents of smaller kids to be able to sit there. I don't think we want to put another one of those big play school kind of things.
No.
I think the bench is good.
Yeah.
I think for now, I mean, if in a perfect world, I think eventually it would be nice to have something for little toddlers.
I agree, Tina.
Of course you do. But
More is coming in August.
But I think that it would be unfair to do that and not take a look at trustees first. So I think for now we could put some fiber fill in there, maybe a bench or something, a picnic table, something so that parents can sit and be near the kids on the swings.
Sure.
I think the bench more than a picnic table.
Yeah, because we have 3 picnic tables down there. Yeah, a bench for the parents.
Yeah. So we're gonna look at maybe a bench.
And I talked to Dee earlier. She thought that the fill should be in this week, but who knows?
Okay. All right.
Could we go off target just a little bit? Since we're talking about picnic tables, Cindy, did you order the other picnic table for Walnut?
Not yet.
No.
Okay. Okay, update on Dyer's Court drain project. It is complete and waiting on Chip's letter so we can file for reimbursement. Did I do that right? Okay. Code enforcement vehicles. Dave, what's going on?
I don't know. He didn't leave me anything.
Okay, so we'll follow up with Frank and see what's up.
You know anything, Cindy? It's like
I
3
don't.
months. It's a long
No,
time.
I haven't heard. I haven't seen Frank since in a couple weeks.
Okay, so update on court grant. I believe that Paul and Leslie, we got an approval for the design, and we are waiting to schedule construction to start sometime coming up soon.
We didn't need Leslie's approval, but I sent it to her, and they both really liked it.
Yeah.
So just waiting for a date for it to start. So
Okay.
we're going that.
All right. Laptops for open meeting and code enforcement. Cindy, they're on order.
Thursday.
They're coming Thursday? All right, cool. I gotta learn how to do the virtual meetings on a PC. Okay. What kind do we get?
I don't know the specifics. Access providing for us. It says it on there, but I don't recall.
Okay. All right. Virtual meeting policy, we said that there were some recent changes and we're gonna talk about it next month.
Right, my recommendation, the governor issued another emergency order. My recommendation is that we just hold it over for another month to continue to refine the policy.
Okay.
Taking a step back, could I ask, do we know what the cost is on the laptops and how we're getting the funds?
Yeah, the board approved that in May or June. I think it was around 2,000, but it included, other things. I can get the quote if you need exact.
Okay, that can't come from FEMA, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I can check. You mean or
Didn't we pull the money from somewhere? I mean, I know we pulled the money from somewhere, but.
I'm pretty sure that the money like Frank has money for his in his budget, but I don't think, Village Hall Supplies had that budgeted because we didn't know if we were even gonna be having open meetings, when we made the budget.
Right, but we decided to do it when,
But yeah, you guys did approve it.
Was it
Okay.
from a grant or something?
I thought it
I
was.
thought it was, too.
Do you remember?
I don't.
Okay. Competent group.
Was it in minutes? Was it in old minutes?
Yeah, I think you guys approved it in June or.
We did.
or,
Um,
May.
Ron, we'll look it up and figure out where we approved it from. My memory tells me we pulled it from that there was something, right? But I don't remember what it was. We'll look it up and, I'll email it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right. So California Beach Park Retention Basin. Okay, so we went ahead, did the scheduled maintenance for it. Rich started that only to discover that it's not draining as efficiently as it did 12 years ago. So Rich is currently, we've gotten in touch with the DEC to talk to them about getting a permit to address it further. I actually met with, I'm gonna be bad because I'm not gonna remember. With the girl that I met, where's she from? Sea Grant, right?
Right, Seagrant.
Okay, so I also met with Elizabeth from Sea Grant today, and we walked down there and took a look at it. She thinks that that might be something that we could get a grant. So Sea Grant has two things going on. One that's kind of nice. They are going to be getting hire grant writers, which is something that we haven't had and is always something that slows us down because none of us are grant writers. So they're gonna actually be putting something out in the next month or so where they're gonna be able to provide municipalities with funding so that we actually have a budget towards, right?
That's
Towards, grant writers. Now, this one, we have the rest of the ARPA money that's coming, that other half, right, that's coming. So now that this basin isn't working the way we thought it would when we dug it up, we thought we were just gonna plant and get it back to where it was, but now there's a drainage issue that once we figure out what that is and go over it with the DEC, we have to figure out how much money we have to put into it. This is one of those rare occasions where we actually might have money to, how the grants do, like, we'll pay 60 and you pay 40.
Yeah.
We actually might have a match from, I mean, I don't know if we can do it that way. I'm hoping that if we can take the ARPA money as our match and get more out of it, once we talk to the DEC and see what their requirements are. So, stay tuned. Rich is, he's been working with them. We've been going back and forth with emails. I think, they're looking for, he did some drone shots. I think, and that's what we're working.
I know.
I just didn't want you to.
Huh?
He's on.
Oh, okay.
That's great. That's good. Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, so that's where we are with that.
You had said the Sea Grant provided two things. You talked about the
Okay, so
people to write the grants, but was there another thing
well,
Elizabeth had mentioned?
she mentioned that they're gonna, that she's gonna try to target a grant that might help us in
Right.
that. I mean, we did the whole shoreline, we walked everything, and she said that she thinks that in that basin there might be a way to do it. It's just, we finally, like, we wanna do Walnut, but we never have the
Okay.
money to match. This
So it
is,
was the one thing about
yeah,
the grant.
this
There
is
weren't
that.
two things.
no, it was
Okay.
just that I also walked Walnut with her,
Okay.
and, we took a look at Walnut, we took a look at Van Brunt, we did the whole shoreline this afternoon.
Great.
So I guess that was the other thing.
Okay, perfect.
Master plan budget. Okay, so I also met with Chick, from Nelson Pope and Voorhees today. just to give him some of my thoughts, but he is working with Ted Masters. They are going to present us with a budget to put together the master plan, which would be the survey and whatever other work. So he's working with him. I kind of met with him on the side just to meet with him to say hello, and then he's going to work with Ted. Ted's going to let us know when we have a budget, and we'll look for it for like next month or something. So they're still in that phase.
Are they looking to do the survey this year or next year, or who knows?
I mean, honestly, I think it would be good, depending on how much it is. I think what might make sense is to do part of it this year and part of it next year. If it turns out to be, I mean, the last time, I don't even know what we spent. Does anybody know what we spent the last time? I think
10, 12 years ago.
Yeah, he said that it was less than 5 the last time, but so it's gonna be probably, I'm thinking 10 years later, it's gonna, I don't know, I have no idea, but I think it's not gonna be 5. So I'm thinking, since, we'll see I think we have to see what the budget, what they come back with and decide how we're gonna do it, but if it's like a big number, then we can say, there's gotta be a survey. Start there.
If you look at the New York State Department of State website, I think there's fun that they have. The New York State Department of State, if you go in their website, they have a whole series of links for local matters, and I think they have funding for comprehensive plans and master plans.
Do they?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Does that require grant writing?
No.
Oh, okay. Cool, I'll look into that too.
Because they want to encourage municipalities to do those kinds of planning. So I think they have. You may have to spend some time looking for it, but I believe I've seen it on there.
Okay, so New York State Department of State local matters in that area?
Yes, and one of the things they have, I'll just mention to you, they do have, under that, they do have a section which is, the Department of State comes up with all these local codes, building codes and things like that. And they do have funding that they pay for education and training and things like that. So that's also available through them. I've applied for that for other municipalities. I'm not saying that we need it.
That's an aside to the master
Yeah,
plan, right?
there's there's several different funding opportunities you'll see in addition to the master plan.
They have so many links on those websites. It's a little daunting, but okay, we'll look into that. Okay, so new hire for code enforcement. Everybody got that email, right?
No.
Yeah, you did. You didn't? Oh, no, maybe not. Okay, so we have a new hire for code enforcement. His name is Randy Manzabang. And he is starting,
He started.
he started, he's got a period of time off and then he's picking up again. He did like his training, right?
Right, I think full-time maybe.
Right, okay. So we have a new hire, which we're gonna be approving later. Okay, hire, special events permit. Did everybody see what I sent around?
Yes.
All right, so the reason, let's talk about this for a moment. Joe, I have questions on this too, for you. Did you see it?
Pretty cool. I don't think so.
All right. So it's pretty much the old one with some kind of, I think we've added a little bit and tried to address some other rules and regulations that were either going by the wayside or are kind of newer, rules and regulations. It's the top part of it's the same. We've had a couple of issues with parking this summer. I mean, we've got a lot more people utilizing the public areas, California and Walnut mostly, and we had some issues with parking. We've gotten some complaints about garbage. And we're thinking about, and then there's also, I think, Joe, you wanted to put something in as far as, hold harmless. So I used language here that you're gonna have to help me out with that, because I just pulled, hold harmless language off of like a copy paste. It's probably not the right one. This is mostly a placeholder. I think the bigger thing is to make sure, I think that the issue is that people are getting these permits, they're handing them back, they're not taking them with them, they don't know what the rules are, and then they're going down there. We had some issues where the event holders weren't accessible. So, I mean, the big changes that I'm proposing here are that the event holder has, gives us 2 cell phones, that they be present
Yes,
for the event,
yes,
right?
absolutely.
I think the 4 weeks is important.
Is it critical? What happens if they want something that's gonna happen in 2 weeks? We won't approve it, or?
I think we should set a goal to aim for, and if
If it's available and.
if it's available, I don't think we have to tell them no if it's not 4 weeks, but I think to get people to kind of try to plan a little bit ahead so that code has time to see what their schedule is and give parking directions. I think the parking directions should be given to them ahead of time on approval. And I think that they should know that if they, I mean, a lot of this was in the previous one, which was perfectly fine. I think the key is to let them have this, once they sign it, to give them a copy to take with them so that they know what the rules are when they take this home, they can go back and look at it, because people aren't gonna look at it twice.
What do we do now with parking? Like, do they ask for a specific number of stickers, or do they know ahead of time that we're gonna have 10 cars, and we say you can have 7 at California Park because there's 14 parking spaces, or?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And if they say I need 10, then we say, okay, then we'll work it out
On the street, yeah.
on the street.
Yeah.
And there's no limit, like, what if they say we're gonna have 50 cars, do we limit it?
Yeah,
That was a question.
it is, and it's, I think, Dave, go ahead, you wanna?
Well, you could, if they're having a lot of cars, one of the suggestions I made was they have to get like a little bus or a van, something, and ferry the people. You can park cars up here and not take all the spots. You can park some cars at Walmart, you can park some cars down at the beach, and just ferry the people around. And then nothing is like it was that day where we had 80-something cars all over the road. We had to go running up the road yelling at people, and the lady that was holding the event.
But that's something you're suggesting, but that's not in the rules or the guidance, right? It's to have a transport.
Well, I'm
ferry.
just saying, if you're gonna have over X amount of cars, you should set a limit on the cars, like, in other
Yeah.
words, we
I
can park
agree,
cars,
so what is
we
that
can
number?
park cars on the main road, Washington, up to that stop sign. Because after that, there's a blind spot where the cars come both ways,
Right.
and if you got cars sticking out, and somebody's coming one way or the other way, you're gonna have an accident,
So,
same as going up
I
like
totally agree,
the mayor's
so
house.
what is that number? We should tell them in writing,
I
say if
didn't
you're
measure-
having.
I didn't measure.
You can't,
But I would say
well-
something like, if you're exceeding 30 cars, you will be required to have a transport bus or in multiple
No, I
vans or
spoke
something.
to Frank about this, so here's the other parameter. You've got California, you've got Walnut, you've got Trustees Park. So you've got 3 locations. So depending on the location, it's gonna be code's decision, how many cars. Because what you could fit, like, for instance, is at California, you can run all the way up to a certain point, then the road gets narrow and there's a blind spot, so you can't exceed that. So let's say the magic number would be 40. If you have a bunch of smart cars, the magic number becomes 60. If you have F-150s, the magic number might be 35. So you can't really specifically give them the car number, you have to give them more the designation. Once they exceed that, but I mean, if it goes to code to approve it, they're gonna look at it and they can, you know, Dave knew how many cars were comfortable, you knew how many cars were there
I
just
knew
by looking at
where,
it.
where to put them.
Right.
Dave, is that,
I just had to get hold of everybody, because they were all over the place.
Right.
I went for fuel, came back
That's not
into that
planning.
mess.
so Dave, the cars that are parked, are they in front of people's houses?
They were in front of houses, yes.
No, I'm saying, if somebody's having an event and we approve a certain amount of cars, like, I don't, you know,
As long
what
as
if
they're not
that
blocking their
person
driveway.
decides they're having a backyard barbecue and
They
they
can't park in the
want
street.
parking?
They can't park in the street.
They have to,
As long as
they
don't
have
block
to
their
submit
driveway.
a special event thing, and then they would get preference, because that's the front of their house.
Yeah.
Right, that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
that's what I would say anyway, because if it was my
Yes.
house, I wouldn't want strangers parking
That's
there. When
right.
I had family coming, you know, I'm asking for a few spots for my family, that wouldn't be fair, and I'm the homeowner there.
Exactly.
That's,
But anybody
those-
who's parking in the street has to request.
No, I know that. My point was, if the people that are having the big party request it first, can those people get parking in front of their house, in front of
After-
other people's
After they
house?
got it approved,
Yeah.
then it's first come, first served, if you approve.
you know, we also have, you have the triangle, I mean, if, I don't think that we should have that big of parties here, I mean, this is your village. Just saying, if you have 40 cars, now you have 80 people, right? If you have 60 cars, you got 120 people. Normally there's 2 people per event,
Right.
right? So now you have 120 people. If you keep on going with cars, I mean, you can put cars over in the triangle too, and ferry them from the triangle down to the beach, to the park there, and you can ferry them from the different, like here and there, that's fine. You don't wanna have parties where you have that many, let's say it's a kid's party, or, and when I mean kids, like a teenager's party, you don't want it, because that becomes unmanageable
Well, yeah.
for us.
So if we're stating all these things, I mean, should they be in the guidance that you may have to ferry, you may have to have your cars in multiple spots? Do we need to put it that level of detail, or that's just something we have a
Well,
discussion with people?
we could suggest it, or you guys could put it in print, you know, if they're gonna have that many cars, it depends, like, if it's an engagement party, and if we had an engagement party down there, we never heard a peep out of the people, and they had a tent up there.
Right.
It was very well managed, you know, it depends on who's holding the event and how well they're gonna control it,
Sure.
you know.
So, I mean, we do have here, and this is why I left it sort of broad, permit holder will receive parking rules for additional cars. So somebody comes in and says, I'm gonna have 200 people and 5 cars, well, we know that that's an issue. So then code will have to speak to them, because they're gonna know, I think that gives them the flexibility to see the amount of people, the amount of cars, the event, what else is going on, when is it, because obviously if it's in the middle of the summer,
And there's 3 other things going on.
and, well, if it's in the middle of the summer, you know that California gets congested on its own with just residents, whereas if it's like October, you might be looking at it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So I think we have to, I think we have to give code the flexibility to take it as each event, they look at the cars, they look at all the parameters that the resident has stated,
Right.
and they decide.
I agree.
This is 40 cars, and this is how we're gonna have them park. And once they get that assignment via email or however they get it, anything that they do that is outside of that, they just decide willy-nilly that they're gonna park here, those cars are gonna get ticketed, but I think we've been pretty clear with them on this. I don't know how to do it, I think each circumstance is different, I don't know how
Sure,
we
no,
would narrow
We had
it
2
down.
events where we had kids taking graduation pictures. We had one up on Tinkerbluff Court, and there was a bunch of cars, they were all on one side of the road, it was very well controlled. There was another one that was down by Van Brunt Manor Road, where I had cars everywhere, and I couldn't even get through, never mind an emergency vehicle. I had people calling up complaining.
Right.
I went up to the party and I said, you better get control of this, because I'm about 2 minutes, I'm just gonna start writing, I got a full book and a full pen, I don't care. So move the cars, well, there must have been 100 people up there. So there was 80 cars on the road, 60 to 80 cars, and they were going up White Pine.
Tell them to park the Stop and Shop in.
Well, I mean, but those
Carry your guests here.
And
those are real possibilities.
There was-
I'm serious.
There was 2 signs out, and the problem was that the people had blocked the signs, so that nobody saw them not to park on the other side of the road, because the cars were blocking them, where it says no parking on this side, and they parked everywhere.
But do you think we need more signs?
So, a couple more signs would probably be helpful when you have a lot of volume like that of cars.
Mm-hmm.
And they're always helpful, like sometimes you have several events going on at once.
Mhm.
And, maybe it's, a bunch of parties like graduation parties or, I don't know, whatever, barbecues at one time and you gotta leave 4 signs like out on Washington, you need 4 signs over here, 4 signs over there, just to make sure that nobody's parking on the opposite side of the road.
Right.
I'm just wondering, is there, again, if we're putting this down as guidance, is there a limit in which we feel comfortable having a maximum number of cars or people at an event that we would say, we're not doing a party with 300 people and 400 cars, we nix it? I mean,
I
that's,
think that's where you have the approval process. So just because they fill this out, doesn't mean that they can do it.
have we ever denied one?
I don't think we've ever
I
had a
don't-
scenario where we've had
I
people
don't-
come in with 300 cars, 300
No.
people, 300 cars.
Well, like that situation you said that you didn't know about on Van Brunt Mountain, we never would have approved that, right?
Well, they said there was a special event, they were taking pictures, it was approved. But we didn't know, I didn't know there was gonna be 80 cars all over the road over there.
So what do you do in situations like that?
Uh,
When they
You take it to
say,
cars.
You gotta go in there and get control of what's going on, you get the homeowner and tell them, listen, you have 2 minutes to move all these cars to one side of the road, or I'm ticketing them. Cause it was nothing about 80 cars being on the road.
so they
Ticketing
must have
them.
said it's gonna be 20 and then they end up having 80
That's
and
what
then deal with, okay.
Right, but I mean, you can at the same time, it's I think isn't it to the village's discretion to pull the permit halfway through?
If the homeowner was not cooperative and the people were not cooperative, I could have pulled the permit and ended it.
Right,
I
so
get
there's
the police-
always that
I
as
get
a
the police to
fallback.
come in and then,
But I think we have to really look at what's average, where the issues are.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, you don't plan
here's,
to be
here's
extreme.
another scenario that we really should look at, that you guys should look at. The day of that party down in California, we had kids jumping off the dock. I mean, we need some kind of a gate or something when you're gonna have an event, a gate off that dock, because,
I
and
think
I don't
that's
know how you're gonna.
challenging though,
Because then
Dave.
what about people that?
You got residents. I think again, permit holder must ensure that their guests abide by all parking and common area usage guidelines.
Well, you saw the scenario we had that day, right? I mean, it had how many kids in the water? There was no lifeguard. There must have been a dozen kids in the water. I was yelling at everybody to get out of the water. It's
That's
no
not gonna
swimming.
happen again.
There was 60 to 80 people on the dock. There was no way to, I went on the dock and told them all off the dock. But had I not been there and somebody drowns, I mean, we're liable.
Are we?
I think we are.
I won't state in public.
Okay.
Can I make a few suggestions?
Yes, you absolutely.
So I think that, we have to have written into this permit that the people sign some things. So the number one is they can't interfere with the enjoyment and operation of these parks by the public. Secondly, they can only park where designated by, public safety. The cars or trucks or whatever, they have to be in those specified places only. That everybody that's associated with the, special event has to have a permit visible in their car.
Mhm.
And,
Even the people that are parked up on the side of the road, the 40, let's say the 40 cars. So what are we giving them, all yellow passes?
yeah, whatever it is, right, because otherwise we have no idea. Because what happened, yeah, exactly, because what happened, I mean, I've spent months fighting, actually with a trustee in court over this. Somebody yelling at me because they,
Yeah.
oh, he came at 2 a.m, he came at 12 o'clock when he got off of work, how was he supposed to get a permit, It's not my fault he parked at California, whatever that.
So
you know,
public safety says 40 cars and gives them 40 permits.
Right, and that's it, I mean, if they wanna swap a car, like one person leaves, another person comes,
Right.
I mean, that's up to them, but I mean, basically, that's the deal, I mean, you
You
know,
like that
How
idea?
complicated is that?
and it should say in here that it's, subject to, anybody not following these rules, subject to being ticketed. And, the people, I know Dave, it's a big responsibility looking at 80 cars that are violating and having to write 80 tickets, but we gotta write the other thing is that I think that it should say in here that the homeowner, the permit holder is responsible for any violations, committed by the guests. So if we have the kind of nonsense that like Dave was just talking about, Dave doesn't have to run up and down the dock and figure out who the kids are or whatever.
Just
The
gives the
kids
violation.
are dumping trash, he can just write it to the homeowner.
Oh, that's great.
I think that's perfect.
The permit owner, the permit holder.
Permit holder,
Yep.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And, That's what I see, that's what I can make out.
Well, can I give it, can I email to you and then you can just edit it, because this was like really just a first draft to just have a discussion. I honestly, I don't see this even, does this have to become the new policy? Because,
Yeah, we should probably vote on it, yeah.
and then, so we'll revise it, look
Yeah.
at it again, and then does the actual application become the same thing as the policy?
Yes,
It's all one and the same, and that
Yes.
one would replace whatever we had in the past,
right, unless
correct?
you wanna go through the exercise of writing a separate policy, but
No, I don't want to, I want this to
And
be the policy,
I think that
right?
what you could do is you could vote tonight to make the changes that we just discussed. So they go into place, and then we'll, if you're in general agreement with them, and then we could do the application.
I think
And
one
I
other,
get-
one other thing, I think, so,
Sorry,
in my mind, this is the only permit that there's no fee for, and I think there should be a fee associated
that's a
with
good
this.
point.
I think for a number of reasons. Number one, it seems like there's a lot of clerical work that may need to be done by, Cindy or Kelly or whomever with now parking passes. There may be times where we may have to bring on additional code if there's multiple parties, and it seems like a lot of administrative work, and, $100 for a permit or whatever in that neighborhood doesn't seem outrageous to me. You have permit fees for a fence or a driveway, this is a permit.
Yeah.
There should be a fee for it.
I've lived here a long time, I've never had an event, but I do feel that we do pay taxes in Coquat. I know, like, when my parents lived at Encore, they had a room where you could
Clubhouse.
do parties, and, it was you paid
Yeah, pay fee.
HOA, and, no,
You have to pay a fee for that?
not then, I mean, not when they lived there, this was a while ago. So, I don't know, I mean, to me, it's part of living here, you know what I mean? You're already making people do the $1,000 for the insurance, and we're doing
I did raise the security
The
deposit
security
from 150 to
deposit.
200.
But security they get back, that doesn't count. I'm saying this is costing the village some time and effort. We may have to hire more code, we may have to have additional time for our clerks to work on this. It's not something that everybody's using, this is for somebody specifically for their family. Why aren't they paying it? They had to go rent a room in a clubhouse or anywhere else, they'd have to pay for it. I'm not talking about thousands of dollars, I'm saying $100 for a permit fee, and it would help offset some of the costs that we incorporate.
But let me ask you a
Papers
question,
and-
you're saying if there's multiple events,
No,
but
I'm saying for the event, if
but
there's.
isn't our approval of an event based on what else is going on? Like, if 3 people put in a thing to have something at Walnut, something at Cal, like, it wouldn't be approved for that many people to have an event on
No,
a
because we
particular day.
probably
Because
couldn't
code
manage it.
couldn't be expected to monitor all that, so I would
Some-
think,
Sometimes there's events at houses also, so if this guy's having 10 cars on, let's say Sharon up there, and Highview's got one, and you got one on the other side of the village, now you got one's going on at the big parks. You can't tell them they can't have a party at their house on
No.
Saturday where they pay taxes and they're applying for a permit, it's gonna be confined to the house, and
right,
Because
well,
why
no,
would you not
this is-
charge
this
this
is-
permit and every other permit?
Well, I think,
I guess that, I mean, I haven't given it a lot of
I'm
thought.
saying, why do we charge for fence permits?
This is, one thing, this is a little, just slightly different, I mean, whatever you tell me, I put it in it, but just my perception of this is just slightly different, like we have a law that you can't park on the street, and every now and then people wanna park on the street, it might be once a year, it might be once every 10 years, it might be once a week, I don't know, but, it just, they give us this, it's not like, they're gonna put up a sign and there's something permanent or a fence, like you mentioned, and it's a fixture that's gonna stay there, it's more just to
a
have
moment,
that
a
freedom.
moment in time.
Yeah, have that freedom.
I guess, I mean, I understand that in front of the house, I'm not looking at.
No,
They'll go
no,
the same
You're not
they'll go
talking
through the same
about-
process if they're having 10, they need 10 parking passes at their house, right? This is for an event that's much larger in scale, and it seems like if, now Cindy or Kelly has to issue 40 parking passes, and now Dave or other people have to maybe work more hours, or,
What if it's more than 10 cars, then they have to pay?
yeah, I don't know. That's
No,
something to
well, see,
discuss.
I mean, my perspective on it is that's part of living here. That's a nice perk, and I wouldn't want to take that away from.
Then why do we charge for moorings, or why do we charge for, things that, we
Well,
have the
mooring,
racks, why do we charge for a
you're
rack?
keeping your boat out on the water for months with a mooring.
But you say, why do we charge for a rack, why do we charge for a parking sticker, why do we charge for anything we do?
I mean, it's, what, let me ask, Joe, what do they charge for these things in other villages? Do they charge
Clubhouses?
no, not, but this isn't, a clubhouse is a different thing. This is, I wanna be able to park my tent and my friends at the beach. I like,
So normally, normally this would be something like an assembly permit or, something like that, and, it could be a small fee or it could be a deposit. Sometimes
do they do both?
they could do both, right?
I don't know. I mean, my feeling is that we shouldn't. My feeling is we should enforce the security deposit more vigilantly, so that if people break, they say 20 cars and they show up with 40, and it turns into an issue. They are forfeiting. We give everybody their money for the most part. We give everybody their money back, and we're lax with the garbage. I think that if they really don't follow the rules, then we just keep their money. And if they do follow the rules, they get the benefit of living here, because a resident can make the argument that, I already pay taxes. The fact that I have code enforcement, that's not that this is your only job and this isn't directed to you, but I could turn around and say, that's why we have them. We have them because so we can have events. Why am I like paying double for that?
You can say that about everything, right? That's all we have. We have a rack already. It's not. Why do we charge people every year $25 to put a kayak there? We have the racks. Why do we charge parking stickers? It's I mean, the issue is if you just charge the deposit and somebody left a bag of garbage, I think you'll get more complaints saying, you charged me $200 because I left one bag of garbage. I think they can deal more with, okay, my permit fee is gonna cost me $50 or $75 or $100 to run this party, and I put $200 up for a deposit if I wreck the place, and then I get that back. I think we'd have more issues, we'd have more complaints if you left a bag of garbage and get charged $200. That's just my opinion.
Should you write this as a guideline, as the special event guidelines, because guidelines are just meant
I
to be
think
guides instead of
we
like
have to. I think we might have to give this. What would your thought be? I'm not. I wasn't really even thinking about a fee, but what would your thought be for a fee for
Yeah,
this?
my gut is something, it wouldn't, having these large parties where I have tents and caterers and DJs and you have 50 cars, it would not surprise me to put $100 as a permit fee. In that
Okay.
range, I'm not looking for $500, just $100, just to absorb some administrative, and why not? If we do 20 of these a year, why not generate some income, considering we do spend some extra money sometimes.
I vote no.
I
You
mean,
vote yes.
I'd rather not, but
Um,
I just.
Cindy, what do you think?
I just. We're a small
What, like,
community.
what's
We're a
the, what
small
is the, what is,
community.
because you're the one who processes all of this. Do you think?
Yeah, I mean, giving the yellow passes to every single car
It starts to become a lot more work.
Yeah, I mean, you'll get more complaints about that, about distributing them, to your guests and, as they arrive and make sure that they have them in their cars and stuff.
But that's
People complain
everywhere.
about
They
that.
make you do that.
Normally, we just did that for the parking lots.
Yeah.
So that, because residents were in there, because residents are allowed to stay in the parking lot, and so that's why it's only, if you have 3 cars with those
In the
yellow
parking lot,
passes,
that the
that's
yellow
it.
passes are just for the parking lot, the rest is street.
I don't know, I guess would generate some money to have a permit fee.
I don't know, I think, is this?
Let me ask you a question. Could it be based maybe on how many people? Like, in other words, if somebody's having a birthday party for their son and they're having 30 kids, that's different than doing a graduation party or a wedding or an engagement. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
I think we either, I don't think
You
that
think
that's.
it's all or nothing?
I think it might be all or nothing. I don't think that that's, someone's gonna
I
be
think-
like, what, they had 30 and I had 31
Yeah,
and.
no, I agree, it's gotta be one. I think if you're throwing a party, you expect to pay for the party, but again, I don't know, if you guys are saying you think it's part of the village amenities, then I just question, why don't you think people feel it's free to have a mooring, or free to have a parking pass, or free to have a kayak, or free to have anything else you gotta charge for in this village?
I mean, honestly, I'm
But
not
maybe that's
opposed
part
to
of the
it.
point, that people do have to pay for all this other stuff, and now we're adding like another
I just
thing.
feel like I feel like we are going to get a little tighter. I mean, I personally like seeing people utilizing,
Yeah.
and I like seeing people, I think if we get a little bit tighter, I don't wanna make it, I don't know, I'm not, I think we should just raise the security deposit. I really do think that if they break the rules, they lose their
I
deposit,
agree.
and that's,
So leaving one bag of garbage is gonna cost them $200.
Well, obviously,
Well, don't say obviously, that's what we're saying. If they break the rule.
I don't think it's that specific.
So what,
Well, you
when
could
do you
just
lose
vote-
your deposit?
You could vote to give a portion of the deposit back and hold, so if it's a bag of garbage, it's 50, you know, you can vote on some small amount. You
I don't know if we
hold
have to
it.
quite drill down that much. If it's one bag, it's this.
Or you say it's 40 cars and they have 45, you lose your $200, who makes those decisions?
no, I don't think you necessarily lose your $200. The 5 extra cars, if code told you 40 and you brought 45, the 5 extra cars, the last 5 are gonna get ticketed, and that's that.
Yeah,
And that
so
goes
that's
to the
problem.
homeowner, right?
And you're saying that that's the problem without the passes.
No, they have to know that they're gonna get, this has, because it's ridiculous what you go through, they should, and they, you know, if they invite 40 people, then they should ask for 45 cars, you know, just in case something comes up, but, you know, they have to figure that out, because the nonsense that we go through, you have a big cost that you don't know about, because you pay me to come to court, you have, code comes to court, you know, and we go through nonsense that
maybe
you wouldn't believe it. Which is I just wanna mention two other things, and hopefully I'll remember them. I would, specify the date, the time that they have to get the cars off the street or out of the park. Cause we've had people that, have been over for like a day or two claiming, you know, it was a really good party, they didn't wake up. They left with somebody and they had to come back, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Well, we
You
don't
know,
want them driving
for
if
for
they've been
2 days.
drinking.
Right, yeah, 2 days is, that's
Um,
too good of a party.
And then this, whatever the thing is that, public safety tells them about, you know, like 2 cars here, 4 cars there, that should be written down somewhere and initialed by the people, so we don't have a fight 2 months later over, you know, where the cars were supposed to be,
Oh,
cause
that's a good
that's been a
idea.
really
I didn't
good,
read the
that's
small
another really
print
big
or
fight
something.
I think that's a good
that
idea.
we've had. So this should be documented, what public safety tells them.
Joe, you know what, why don't, can you give us, can you sharpen this up and then we revisit it next
Yeah.
time? Because I think, I need to, I wanna think about the, John, you might have a point with charging the fee.
And again, I don't wanna be like a dog with a bone, I'm not
No, I
absolutely set in
understand.
stone, we have to do this, I'm just
I'm
saying,
not
consider it.
absolutely set against it, I wasn't thinking about it, but and honestly, the passes, giving all those cars passes, it helps code, but it gives the village hall a lot more work.
Do you have to fill them out, or are they just neutral?
Yeah, maybe we can come.
Why
I
can't
think-
they
I
be
think-
generic?
Can we color
I think
coordinate them
maybe
by
the
party?
yellow ones
Or can we change it
stay
by,
the way they are,
Can
and
we just
maybe
color
we just
coordinate it?
have a card
Mm,
that just,
Generic.
it's a
Yeah.
generic card with the
Stuff out.
village,
Yeah.
with like a village thing, you just hand them and then you don't have to go through the trouble of stamping, filling them out, something
It
like
should have a
that.
date on it or something, otherwise it becomes like a permanent pass.
We do,
Oh
we do.
Yeah,
my
no, it's
God,
a
it's
date.
too
A
complicated.
date,
or we
but
can get different
I'm
colors,
banning them all.
right? Can we get multiple colors, and then for this weekend, you know,
Party's banned,
colors-
over.
yellow was July or whatever.
yeah.
Right.
All right, Joe, let's add language and make this a little tighter, and we'll circle back in August, so that we'll have the party thing all
For
set.
next year.
We'll have it all, we'll
2023.
have it all done, so whoever wants to
Send
have
us about
a conga line on Thanksgiving, we'll have it all established and then. Oh God, that took a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, so, resident lighting and tree requests. Okay, so, John, I just wanted to, we have, the resident request to add light by One Singing Wood. I don't know who does that go to Frank to take a look at, or what?
So, yeah, I guess code could review and see how dark it is and make a recommendation, or you could have Mike do it, I don't know. We don't really have like a.
I'm asking, like, how does this go?
You
As
guys,
the-
you
as
guys
the-
could go
as the new kid
do
in
it
town.
and see,
All
you
right,
know, like,
I'm gonna go look, but I need somebody like a codish person to also, a codish
Is that a new-
person to also go look because I'm not privy on lighting, so.
Yeah.
So resident request to add light by one singing wood. I'll message you or Frank and we'll take a look at it and see if we need one.
I didn't even know we could do
Then,
that.
the tree requests, you got the two for there's a lot of this choked ivy. I don't know where you are with the list.
So I'm making a list, like I said,
You have the two that they,
I have the one near,
They were-
Mark and Jessica's house and Bill's house on the corner, sort of Birchwood and on Washington, between Birchwood and Mark. She wrote it on Facebook, right?
no, there's another two that came into Village Hall. There were, I think,
On Washington?
Washington,
Oh, that's what
there's
you're talking about.
22
The one between
Walnut.
and Birchwood.
Yes. I saw that
Oh,
on
is that
Facebook.
it?
That's the only one I saw on Facebook.
All right, there's
And then-
another one,
If there's other ones, send it to me. I'm
Yeah,
gonna make a
I'll-
list and then,
I'll send you the ones that I have,
yeah,
and then
I
you
got
can
an
just
ongoing
add
list
to
as I
your
walk
list.
around the village, and then, I'll present it to the board at some point, and then probably twice a year. In
Yeah.
the spring and the fall, I'll say, these are the list of potential trees, and then I'll bid it out with, our tree guys. And I'm
Okay,
also working with, I work with Dave to trim some of the trees and
Yeah.
preserve as you're coming out of Washington onto
Okay.
Main Street, because that's sort of impacting the view.
yeah, when Dave's back on, we have some stuff, so let's coordinate that between him, cause he's been, out
Yeah,
for
I
a
think he's
bit.
gonna be here, not this weekend, but next weekend. I talked to him.
All right, so let's look at your list and the list that Village Hall has for him and make sure that we prioritize
Yeah.
what happens. How bad are those trees?
No, I mean, we could do that. Mike and I will meet Dave, and we'll do it in 20 minutes.
Okay, cool.
Not a big deal.
All right,
But yeah, so any tree requests or any issues, just Cindy, Tina, just send them to me and I'll put them on the list and I'll keep them on going list.
okay,
That's
cool.
great
Yeah,
idea.
great. That's perfect. All right, open items for the board to review from the village attorney.
Do you have any questions for me? I have a couple things, but
I just, the hold harmless, that was my big question for you, was here's my question for you, is when you redo this one, is the hold harmless law gonna be something we can put on all the permits, and can it be the same hold harmless statement?
Yes.
Okay, cool, that was my question.
So, because it's a new board, I'll just mention one thing to you that, the mayor and the deputy mayor in your absence have the power under the executive law to declare an emergency, so as we come into, the storm season later on, and then the winter storm season, certain times in the past, we've declared an emergency, which means, you can issue orders like no parking on village roads, things that you think of that are important, you let me know, and then there's a form that I draw up for you, you sign it, and then I serve, it has to be served on 4 different agencies, and I do that for you. So if and when that comes up. The trees we spoke about, if you wanted to develop policy at some point in the future, I could help you with that, and then, was an email that went out from the DEC today about, clean water grants, I don't know if you got it, or if I'll forward it to you, but there's a lot of things that are included in what's considered clean water, management, and I know along the shoreline, you might have a couple things that, you might wanna consider, that, that I'll mention to you.
Is
Not-
that more
not in
money
public.
for us?
Potential money from I guess it's, the DEC, yeah.
Wow, cool, okay, I don't know if
And I think Port Jefferson Harbor is probably one of their interested, something they're probably interested in,
so I didn't get into my email today.
Okay.
So
I don't know who it went to, I'm on like a DEC email list.
I'm
That
on
I-
a
that I
DEC
subscribe
email
to.
list too, and I'm Chris's stuff's still forwarding, so I probably have 9 copies of that in my email, but I haven't seen one of them yet, but I'll look, and if I don't find it, I'll message you. I don't know, so that's it from you, Joe, that's all that we have going on, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say this at the organizational meeting, I forgot to say it, but I think that the two prior mayors and you board members were the same during COVID, but I think that the village really owes you a lot of credit for the hard work you did in the last 2.5 years, getting us all through COVID. It's really an amazing job and a lot of work by everybody.
Okay, we'll have to pass it on to the other former mayors, so it's kind of a quiet room. How about, can we table that and you repeat it next session?
My name's not spelled right.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I
Yes,
don't care,
yes,
can I just cross it and
Yeah.
write it out?
She,
So said you.
Everybody-
Illegal. Hey, any update on the tennis court, pickleball court thing?
oh,
Tape
God.
thing? Because I can't look at Neil right now.
I don't think, I think we looked at how much it was gonna be
It was
to
gonna be,
de-stripe it, or
Yeah,
to build a new one.
well, to build a new one is very, very expensive. And then to put the stripes down was $1,000, then Dee was like, how much if we have to get rid of the stripes, and that was $1,500, then she asked me to go back and find out to build a new one, and that was, I can't even remember the number, it was really expensive. So,
Pickleball's on hold, I'll put it on there. That'll go on the agenda with the new parking permits, so that the people who are doing the conga line in November can go right into the pickleball.
Joe, did you ever get my email about confirming the dollar amounts taken up at Village Court?
I don't know if I got your email, but I know it's my responsibility, and I think the last court date we had, I converted the calendar to a Word document, and I inserted the amounts, and I don't know
This
if I
would be
sent
for
it to you.
past, it would be for the last audit I did, I'll send you the dates.
I have most of the calendars with dollar amounts, so if you remind me again, I'll send them.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
We have people from the past that are paying,
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard, it's kind of confusing, but,
well, we'll talk about it when we get to the court report then.
All right, well, I think that's it. For anybody else have any other items that they wanted to bring up?
Nope.
No? No?
Oh, get out of here. You nuts?
What? Oh, okay. All right, so now next, we have to do meeting adjourned at, is that what I'm doing? You gotta walk me through this, so. Meeting adjourned at 6:56. Now do I have to say, all in favor?
yes,
All in favor?
Aye.
John seconded that.
I second.
Somebody
Oh,
I'll
second,
second it.
you have to second, all in favor?
If I don't second it, it doesn't happen.
And Jacqueline, okay, so now, does anybody need a break? Do we just plow
Let's
forward?
plow forward.
All right, let's plow on. Okay, so now, I'm sorry, how does this work? Oh, this is the work session. Okay, got it. Now, do I announce this one?
Yep.
Mayor, it's me, called meeting to order at 6:57. Okay, so let's pledge. All right, I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. No?
Do you know the Village of Pocock flag?
No.
We should. Indeed.
You start designing it, I'll send you start designing it, I'll send all the criticisms your way. You deal with the input. Okay, so announcements. PCA, outdoor movie night is this coming Friday at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
We will be watching Jaws.
Jaws.
Shocker.
Yes. Garden Club is every first Tuesday of the month at Trustees Park
7 p.m.
at 7 p.m. Thank you. Sorry about that. Friday night beach party on July 29th
At 6:30 p.m.
at 6:30 p.m. Thank you. Clock. PCA barbecue and cardboard regatta is August 13th.
At 3 p.m.
Are you sure? No, don't look it up. Is it 3 p.m.?
No, I honestly don't.
All right, time to be determined.
I'm trying to remember. I think 3.
Well,
I think it's three.
Is it three?
I'll
I
pull
think
up
it
now.
is.
I think we have to check the tides too, though,
Yes, I think
because
it's
we
3.
always do that based on the tides. Let's say 3-ish. Okay. Public hearings,
Yeah, that's what it
none.
says.
So I have a question. Can I ask new mayor questions as we go along? Okay, so public hearings. So if there were public hearings, what would I be? I would be reading the results of the public hearings, or we would
No,
be
you have a
doing our public hearings? We do motion to have one and then open it up. That's
Motion
what
to
I
open the
was-
public hearing, and then
Ah,
motion
okay.
to, at the end, you either move to adjourn or close it.
Got it, okay. All right, so reports. Public safety,
That one.
thank you, that was very efficient. We can move on. Treasurer's report, Ron?
Okay, I sent you the budget actuals and some notes on it. It's only the one month into the year. The main differences are timing differences. One thing that I had emailed to everyone in the email was that it's my understanding that we're going to make budget transfers in the next board meeting to move money from the Village Hall capital expense account and from drainage capital expense to cover the overage at this point in time in street maintenance supplies and services. That's the only thing of any real significance at this point in time that's somewhat unusual. Other than that, everything seems to be running along pretty well.
Okay, that's good. That's
I'll send it to you.
potholes, right? Potholes,
Yes.
yeah, okay. All
Do
right,
we have a list on the potholes? Is it
Let
an
me-
ongoing list?
Sure,
Can I
I can
add
send
it?
some, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, if they're really bad, we can have Dave, do a temporary thing.
Well, I think we could wait. We have 2 big ones, right, like by my house in the street.
I got another report on a couple of other ones. I'll go look at
I
the
think so
other
too.
ones.
So should I email you or?
Yeah, email me and I'll check the list to make sure that they didn't miss any. And then if not, we'll add them to next
Okay,
year's list.
because I saw the cones and I'm like, then I didn't see cones on Adams and I'm like, ooh, these are big.
Yeah, let's get a list going, might as well.
I can
They're
drive
done, because they're done. They already came
Buy
back
them
from the second
in the
batch.
daytime, but at night I'm like,
Yeah.
all right.
Well, Dave can do a little
Sure.
Yeah.
staff, right?
Linda gave you those on Maple, Linda, sure.
That's the one, that's
Yes.
the one,
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
Maple.
that would have
So is that, am I redundant? You already gave that.
Linda
earlier,
gave us
so
all
I know
that.
she said she talked to you.
Let's take a
Maybe
look.
I heard.
Whatever, yeah, whatever
I
we
will
can
check the
do.
list
I
and
don't want
make
somebody to
sure
like
they're done.
twist their ankle.
So I guess, why are there so many coming up now if we just finished the whole project? Did we spent $38,000, did these guys not?
No, they
Catch
must
'em
have done a lot
They
because,
did do a lot. I mean, I saw a lot done, but we need to check and see if they missed something. Or perhaps we didn't see them.
I don't
Like,
think they were
let's-
bad back when we were
Let's
doing
see,
the list.
let's see where, because that's one of those things that crops up and.
Yeah.
So let's see what the remaining ones are and how bad they are and revisit that. Don't break the budget, John. Okay, number,
Court report.
court report,
Yeah,
go.
okay, so for the month of June, there were 10 cases opened, there were 8 cases closed. Village court took in $1,200, total to date is $1,625. So I just have a quick question, when we were talking about, this is what it shows they took in, and then Edelson attaches his report of what it was for and how much they took in.
Okay.
So I guess when I was doing started doing the audits last year, it was like, we're all covered on how many tickets were written, which tickets were voided, who has eyes on that that's the right amount of money. That was the only little part in the audit.
The tickets were 200, but Paul educates it down to 70. How do we know that it was 70? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I was just asked to have some kind of verification that what they're saying was collected.
Okay.
that's all.
So okay, so I could do that. One of the things, my concerns is that, we have people that just, like, we set up, people that don't come, like, we do judgments for people. But first off, people plead guilty and then they don't pay here, they leave because they're told to pay online. So I don't know if that ever happens. And then
But at least that's not,
That's a
if they're
collection
paying
issue.
online, that's being paid online. It's more that what's being said is taken in, I guess, that night. Like they're saying 1,200, or is that number including what people did online too?
it includes what people did online, because
then
nobody's paying it nobody's paying here.
Yeah, then I don't think
You don't know how, it's impossible.
I'm thinking, do we really need to include that as part of the audit? It hasn't been, because I have his report outlining exactly what the money was paid for, and then I get a copy of the check. They send me a copy of the check every month, made out to, to Village Hall. I was gonna say made out to you. So I think that's pretty comprehensive.
Well, she has every month's calendar. She has like she has a calendar of like 10 people that are supposed to be here, right?
Yeah.
And that's created from the prior. It's created during the month. And then out of the 10 people, she'll have like 5 people that are marked as paid, and she'll have $100, $400,
Yeah.
whatever it is. So
And I get a cash book report every month with
yeah,
the amount.
I think that's what we should reconcile. But if she says, excuse me, if the court says that we collected $1,200, $1,250,
And it tells me what it's for.
yeah, I think that we should be confirming that we got $1,250. But then my concern is that this larger group of people that are just like moving along, that they got, either they were told, they agreed, okay, I plead guilty, I'll pay $100, and then I don't know what happens to them, or these other people that we have judgments against. I mean, there might be some big number of people of money that's out there that we're owed.
That we're waiting on.
Yeah,
Well, there could be, because in the past, doing the audit, you'll see something from 2020 just got paid in 2022.
But don't they keep like a running tab?
They keep,
I'm not understanding that.
No, so theoretically, theoretically what is supposed to happen is there's a judgment filed with the Suffolk County Clerk, and if at some point in the future, in the next 10 years, that's good for 10 years. So at some point in the future, if they go to buy a house or some credit report or something, it'll pop up that they'll poke $100, and they'll have to pay it. But then that may not happen, or or some credit, they go to buy a car and the car company says, oh, by the way, you have a judgment against you, but we're
right,
gonna give you the money anyway.
but I'm not gonna start tracking that. All I'm tracking when I do my audit, which I already did 2 reports so far, I'm accounting for every single ticket that was written from the last audit to the next audit. I sit with Frank, every single ticket's accounted for, unless the ticket was voided. And I make a notation on the report that the ticket was
Right.
voided. So the big problem in the past was there were tickets that hadn't been accounted for.
There were tickets that were.
So then I go into, just an overview of the reports that I get, how much was taken in.
Right, if the ticket said $100 and the judge said now you owe us 50, that's what you guys should confirm, that you actually got paid 50. It's not that if he.
How would I be doing that?
You each ticket that came in, I think it would go back to somebody tracking it in court.
Right,
Sitting in court
the
and
judge said
saying,
this $100 went to 50.
the ticket number 5193 was originally for 200. The judge decided to make it 50. 50 was collected.
Otherwise,
Right, I
according to
get a
your
list.
records would show 200, and now you show the $50.
No, you
My
should.
records go by what they actually took in. So if the ticket was actually $100 and the judge said it's 50, the report reflects 50.
Does it reflect it to the ticket?
See, how do you know it shouldn't have been 100? They only got 50. That's what you want. You want to keep them honest to say we collected what they said they were supposed to collect.
That's the discrepancy. So in other words, I come in and I have a ticket for $200, right?
Mhm.
And I I'm not saying that this would happen, but this is where the
Check and
holes
balance.
happen, holes would happen. I come in and the ticket gets marked down to 100, right?
Mhm.
But you get a report back that you got $2. Where's the $98? All you know is that 2 came in, but you don't know. I think if it gets attached back to the ticket,
Yes.
So I have to go through every single ticket.
It should be, it should be like a spreadsheet that says this is what it was issued, this is what was collected, this is, so is every single ticket being,
that the ticket is
adjusted or?
accounted for and that the adjustment is correct. Does this make sense?
Well,
No, that's exactly right. 'Cause it-
Otherwise,
and
Then I
then-
have to
otherwise,
start
what's the
doing.
point of auditing?
That's the only way
Right?
that's the only way to do the audit. So now,
Well, up
when-
until now, I haven't been doing that.
I understand,
You
but
know what I'm
otherwise,
saying?
you're not keeping them honest, because you don't know.
we
is
owe
that
you
hard to
information.
do? Is
No,
that
we
hard?
owe, the problem is we owe you information, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure that you get the information
Okay.
moving
Yeah,
forward.
because
So-
otherwise your audit's incomplete, we don't know they
Well,
collected
her
what they're
audit
supposed to be
is,
collecting.
all she knows is that 100 was collected and 100 was deposited.
That's,
But if,
You
but
should have
if,
been
if
200,
it should have been
200.
300,
Right.
you don't know that
Right.
because you're not privy to what was the negotiation in court.
I don't believe I have that.
Okay, so we have to.
So whoever attends the court needs to say this ticket got
So
adjusted.
is that an area that you can do without conflict?
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
so
but
then-
wouldn't, maybe, Leslie probably,
Leslie-
No, you were auditing Leslie.
no,
she's part of
no. I'm just saying, yeah, where would that report come from?
You, or.
No. I'm saying, where would the information for that report come from, for me to be able to?
Well, whoever attends the meeting has to say, okay, that's what I'm saying, either, the attorney or you documents at the court session that says, hey, this went from 200 to 50, it went from 175 to
Ticket number
125.
345 for $200 was lowered to 50. 50 was collected.
Set up a spreadsheet, you could just say what it
But
is.
somebody has to be in attendance, so it's either you or I guess Joe.
Right.
Yeah, well, so if I have, like, I have a sheet, I write down what every ticket was settled for. And it's not that many, it's like 2 tickets a month or something.
Right, so if you give her the list of what it was settled
Yeah.
for, and then you just start doing that.
I'm gonna start doing it now, I'm not going back.
No, you don't go
2
back.
years.
You don't have to go back. You need to go back 12 years.
Mhm.
And I want you to do it tonight.
I quit.
Yeah, yeah. I thought this is, to be honest, I thought this was happening now for the last 10 months since we
Well,
said
no,
this.
she's been making sure the deposits are correct.
So
we had
what I do
deposit
is-
issues in the past.
No, I thought that we were tracking the adjustments, I thought this
No.
started months and months ago.
No, what I've been doing is, I've been sitting with Frank, making sure that the big problem wasn't it was that the tickets weren't being accounted for.
I understand that part too.
So that was initially the big issue. So
Mhm.
now I make sure that every single ticket is accounted
Right, no,
for.
I get that.
If the ticket's voided, I have to look at the report. There's a bunch of things that I've been
I think
doing.
going forward, we need to get the
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
But I thought we discussed this like 9 months ago, that Joe was gonna do this at the meetings.
Well, we're talking about it now and we'll be doing it.
I think we're good. Okay, all right.
It's not, even with only a few tickets, it's not a small amount of work, but we'll take care of it.
No, it is. It's because
It's just tedious.
it is
I
tedious.
have to remember the next day to do it, and I have to do it, but I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Do we know when court is?
Oh, well, it's
We get an audit report from the auditors on the Justice Court, is that correct?
yes, we had a,
That's what's early,
wait,
that's why-
No, I'm sorry, the 27th.
Ron, hang on, nobody heard you. We're all gabbing.
Sorry, 27th.
We get an audit report annually, which should show the numbers for the year. And I think, even if you do just check the annual numbers against that audit report, there should be some way to reconcile them. And I could work with you if
I don't want to use their
Yeah, we can't, that's the
information.
point, we don't wanna use their numbers, we wanna audit it. Cause if, you can't.
It's a question of oversight to make sure that the numbers that we're getting are the numbers that are happening.
Yes, I understand that. And on a monthly basis, that would be the most immediate and the best way. But the annual check would be checking the
Right.
annual audit numbers against the numbers we generated month by month.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah,
easy
that's-
to do.
Yeah,
That's, I can do that, no problem, or whoever.
okay, you're hired again.
Double her pay.
All right. Can I go to public comments now? Public comments? Caller? Any caller on the
Did you have
line?
them on mute?
Anybody? I don't know. Maybe I'm not even recording this. Let's hope, let's see. Does anybody, this is a time for public comments. Hello? Nick?
I think it's really funny that you picked Jaws for the movie this year. It's hysterical.
We do every year.
It's the
Every
best.
year.
It's the best.
It's like a tradition
Are you gonna
now.
come down?
Oh, absolutely, I watched Jaws for it.
Oh, good.
It's really
I
fun.
think it's officially the 1000th time I've seen it.
Yeah, well, probably
All of us.
2000s, okay. Okay, so no public comments, we can move on to resolutions. All right, this is the one that's really hard, because I still like to be the second, but
Get over it.
yes. Okay, so resolution number 0720221. Resolution adopting July 14th, 2022 agenda as printed.
Second.
Wait,
So
don't I have
Oh,
to
yeah,
say so moved?
Yeah, that's right. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Go ahead, who's next?
Okay. Resolution 07-2022-2. Resolution accepting the monthly reports from July 14th, 2022. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 07-2022-3, resolution adopting the minutes from June 9, 2022, work session of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
My turn. Resolution number 07-2022-4, resolution adopting the minutes from June 9th, 2022, business session of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ha, that's good.
Resolution 07-2022-5. Resolution to schedule the Village of Poquat Board of Trustees work session meeting beginning at 6 p.m. on August 18th, with the business meeting to follow immediately. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Resolution 07-2022-6, resolution adopting the minutes from July 5, 2022, organizational meeting minutes of the Board of Trustees. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution number 07-2022-7, resolution approving the hiring of Randy Manzibang as a code enforcement officer at the rate of $19.50 per hour, effective June 24th, 2022.
Hold
So,
on, is he a code enforcement officer or public safety?
I think
Or is there a
one and the
difference?
same. Dave?
Code enforcement is
Code
the civil
enforcement right
service.
Say that again?
We're code enforcement officers, not right now at this time.
That's the civil service,
Category.
Designation?
yes.
Sorry, thanks.
Now you threw me.
Just say so moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Joe, this one now, this is the virtual meeting, so now what do we do when we nix one?
So
Do
a
we-
motion to table.
Okay, so am I saying, so how do I do that?
So, resolution 07-2022-9, motion to table.
Motion to table, and that's it?
Yes.
Motion to, do I have to say what we're tabling or no? Motion to
What's the
table
Resolution, yeah.
resolution?
Resolution adopting virtual meeting policy, motion
Okay.
to table.
Oh, motion to table, got it, okay. So moved?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, somebody else do the next one.
Okay. Resolution 07-2022-10. Resolution approving change order of $14,000 for additional pothole repairs.
What's that?
Did we?
What is that for?
So that was that's the overage
Oh,
that
that's what-
happened
that's-
from the potholes, because there were more potholes reported by
Oh,
the
okay.
time.
That's the transfer that Ron was talking about going forward. There was $14,000 over.
And we're still getting a lot of additional ones, so if it was 38,000 plus 14, so it was like 52. Plus we still have others now. Huh? That's a big,
Streets are expensive.
I get it.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. sorry, resolution 07/2022-11, resolution approving contributions towards tables, chairs, and dumpster to PCA annual August 13th barbecue, amount not to exceed $1,500. So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, were you guys going to add a resolution to make changes to the special event application, or do we not need to do that?
No, we don't do, we're,
Seems like there's too many things.
I think we should do a second version. I think we should look at it. Do you agree?
Yes.
Yeah, let's just roll through it again. November's perfect.
Okay. Alright. Visa credit card, AmericanFlags.com, 5401, USPS, for stamps, 116, for a total of 170.01. 16 unpaid bills, Ace Hardware, 3238, Construction Technology, 198.08, Early Bird Outdoor Services, 5,870. Earthworm and Son for the Dyer's Court Dream Project, 20,375. Eastern Environmental for storm drain cleaning, $3,125. Flurry Risk Management, $637. Landscaping by La Rosa, $1,933.33. NYSIF, $4,699.95. PSE&G, $424.21. Another PSE&G, $14.15. Times Beacon, election notice, $135.95. Wex Bank, $237.50. Winter Brothers, $3,141.60. Wood Kingdom, oh, sorry, that's on hold. Dave's Tree Service, $150. Earthworm and Son for the Dyer's Court Drain, $25,975. Landview Dirt Works for the landscape of the retention pond, $6,005. Tony Bertolotti, Deputy Inspector, $250. Winter Brothers, $9,443.50. And we're holding the Wood Kingdom so that we paid $41,823.
Actually, sorry, the two earthworm charges for Dyer Court, that totals over $50,000, right? 25,000 each?
Right, so it was a deposit and then the balance.
But I thought it was less than 50,000. That project was only supposed to be like, same thing like,
No, there were overages, with landscaping, trees, and, yeah, it was just like landscaping trees that were added in.
so when overages happen, they just happen, the board doesn't have to approve it before, or how did it just?
So it depends on what your policy is. If you can, it's the best practice if you can to approve it in advance. So if we had known about it in advance, then we could have approved it. But I think these are things that were like happening, on the job. So it's difficult to follow. But it is the fact that you went back and approved it, even if, you're sort of ratifying it. So I think that's fine.
So do you want me to add it to next month's overage, or don't bother?
Well, no, did they do the work yet? The overage work?
They did the work. It was,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing was sort
Yeah,
of an
definitely.
emergency, so I don't think
Yeah.
we, what do you
No,
do
that's
in
fine.
that
We
kind
bid
of
it- We
thing?
bid it out.
Right, we did bid it out, but while they're, okay, so they're down there and they run into a snag and now there's a big hole in the ground. You can't wait for the next board meeting, right? How do you do that? You have to have-
No, you can't wait till the next board meeting. I mean, one of the things you could have had was a special meeting,
Okay,
or something like that. But it's difficult to do that when the project's ongoing.
right,
And the people are on the job, so.
and people are living in the houses.
Yeah, the main thing is you do approve it,
Okay,
at a meeting, that's the main thing, so.
okay,
In the future, if you want to catch it and we have a quick meeting, then we'll be good.
okay.
13 unpaid bills, Canon Financial, $129. Dave's Tree Service, $150. Karen Delzato, $66. Earthworm and Son, for the paving at Dyer's Court, $15,000. Ray Graham, $60. Landscaping by La Rosa, to fix California Park, $1,250. Kendall Parish, $60. Staples, $31.94. Suffolk County Water, $436.95. Suffolk County Water, $204.22. Suffolk County Water, $87.29. Verizon Wireless, $59.76. And for a total of $17,625.16.
I just have a really quick question, because I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Remove deer carcass at 15 White Pine Lane, so there's no, like,
So if they pull it to the street, it's our responsibility to take it.
if they pull it to the street, I thought there would be like a special,
The garbage guys don't do that.
No, they won't take
well, no, I don't. So if it's on your property,
it.
Pull it to the
Okay,
street.
Good idea.
no, I'm just saying, like, I thought there would be like, I don't know what I thought, that there'd be a place that comes and,
For $150.
Grizzly Adams.
no, no,
Grizzly
right.
Adams shows up with his,
The Acme deer removal.
Yeah.
Next to Ajax deer removal.
We do have a couple of residents that would take it if it was fresh,
Right,
but.
yeah,
otherwise,
I'm dating
we
one of
have to
them, so I
call.
get it.
I'll call you then.
Yeah, wow, that's pretty good business, you just pick up the deer and get rid of it.
they can do it.
We don't ask for
I don't
those.
want, I don't want,
Okay.
that's not my,
I was
that's not
just,
my
I was
jam.
just curious.
Okay, now I don't remember which one.
I think you're on
Deborah.
Deborah.
Office.
Yeah.
$60.
Okay, thank you. Deborah, 2 unpaid bills, Deborah Pat, that's $60 for a total of $60. That was just one unpaid bill. And then, corporate office furniture for 2 new chairs for the clerk's office, $558.
Ooh, nice. You go there.
Slid that in.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. There's no more. 2 unpaid bills, Pave Master Asphalt, for the potholes, $37,005, and Joseph Prokop, $1,050, for a total of,
38.
hold on, did she hold that? Oh, $38,055.
She learned how to do paving, that's what I should learn how to do.
Oh, I'm gonna start dating myself.
14 unpaid bills. Arba Vista, $350. Axe Creative, $75. Big Yen Cleaning, $320. Call Ahead, $270. Cohen and Danowski, $4,500. Optimum, $135.59. PSE&G, $392.91. PSE&G, $14.15. Small Business Management, $529.94. Suffolk County Officials Association annual dues, $750, and Wex Bank, $367.28, for a total of $7,704.87.
It's $750, is that twice a year or is that once a year?
I think that's just once.
Oh,
Smash that.
Annual.
Yeah,
Annual dues.
So, we did that one, so that's your resolution.
I can do it. You can, why don't you do it? Go ahead.
Resolution 07-2022-12, resolution approving all checks per the voucher report. So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, look, the phone's ringing.
It's the red light.
Okay, so all right, that's it. Motion to adjourn at 7:27 PM.
There you go.